Hey everyone, it's Tim. I just finished grading our week 6 discussion boards as we turn more and more to week seven's materials. I feel like I say this every week, but it always shocks me how late in the quarter it is when I think about what week it is. And I'm sure it will be week 10 and week 11 before we know it, and that will catch me by surprise too. But hopefully, you guys are doing well. Overall, the discussion boards were really, really good. I think you guys did a good job of grappling with it, the material, as well as I saw some people helping each other out in the discussion boards. Like, oh, did you think about this way? Or maybe you meant this, or maybe you need to show a little bit more depth here. I really appreciate when you guys try to help each other because, A, sometimes these concepts are really tough to grapple with, but sometimes the best way to learn material is to teach the material and to help others the material. And plus, this is the whole point of a class, is to help each other. And I know online it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to figure out how to help each other, but I think what I saw this week was fantastic. In terms of the concepts, there's just a couple that some people had a hard time grappling with, and I think it's because a lot of the terms that we saw in part two, conservatism, optimism, and availability particularly, are things we see in real life, or said in real life a lot. But in terms of this class, the research method spin to these terms is a little bit different. So an example of conservatism is it's not necessarily religious people are more conservative. An example is maybe you like drinking Pepsi a lot, and you don't think that drinking Pepsi brings bad health outcomes. A research study comes out that says you're 50% more likely to get diabetes if you drink Pepsi every day, but you're slower to react to those results simply because of your views of what Pepsi and how you don't think it really has implications for you. For optimism, a lot of people use the good example of texting and driving, or drinking and driving, or studying for tests. So the probability of something happening is so much higher than what we give it to ourselves, simply because it won't happen to us. Like, oh, I know 80% of people fail the exam when they don't study, but I won't study and I'll be fine. Oh, I know a lot of people get in accidents when they text and drive, but that's not me. That won't happen to me. Same with drinking and driving. For availability, this stems a lot on what we see in our own lives and what's on the news. So some people brought up the aspect of maybe a restaurant. I know a good friend that won't go to Bombs Away Cafe because one person in her life, and she's been here 7 years, got food poisoning at Bombs Away, and she won't go there anymore because that one incident. Where in other cases, one person that got their car broken into, and you think that the statistics of car break-ins or of food poisoning are a lot higher than what they are, just simply because you had someone in your life that happened to. So those are just some concepts that I wanted to go over really quickly, but overall you guys did a really good job. And as always, feel free to email me or comment back in the discussion board grade that I just posted if you have any questions. The last thing I just want to touch on really quickly is discussion board 7. In chapter 19, part 2, it just says come up with a variable that is of interest to you. And then it talks about, for example, suppose you want to estimate the proportion of students at your college who are left-handed. You decide to collect a random sample of 200 students and ask them which hand is dominant. I'm not asking you to collect a sample of 200 students here. I'm just asking you to select a variable, and particularly choose a variable that you can use to estimate the proportion of individuals with that trait or occurrence of the phenomena. So I would review chapter 19 obviously before I do this, but I just want to clarify that I'm not asking you guys to do a random study of 200 people, but just to pick a variable. But overall, like I said, you guys are doing really well. The quiz grades were really good too. And as always with quizzes and exams, there's always open-ended questions that I will go back and grade myself. And I also look at the other answers that do have that are like multiple choice, true, false, just to make sure that the answers that you guys give, maybe it's close enough where I'll give you partial credit or a point, just because I can see based on how the question was worded that I could see how you guys got those answers. So I do check to make sure that you guys are getting all the points that you guys deserve. But as always, feel free to shoot me any questions, comments, concerns, etc. But otherwise, hopefully you're all doing well, and hopefully the quarter and the craziness is going well. Hopefully one of these days the camera on my computer will actually work so I can see you guys more face to face in a way. But otherwise, take care, y'all.